Today, we're diving into a really pivotal moment in history. It's a journey, really. A journey from a decade of darkness and constant rejection to this single spark of light that ends up illuminating an entire city. This is the story of how a message, after years and years of searching, finally found a home.
Just imagine hearing that question, not once, but over and over again. For 10 long years in Mecca, this was the Prophet Muhammad's call. You see, he wasn't just looking for followers. He was searching for a sanctuary, a safe place where the message he carried could actually be shared freely, without fear.
So that search, it started in what must have felt like a true wilderness. And I don't just mean a wilderness of sand and rock, but a wilderness of just consistent, painful rejection.
And what's really incredible here is the sheer persistence. Think about it. For a full decade, the Prophet would systematically go to these big, powerful tribes. He'd go during the busiest times of the year, the Hajj pilgrimage, the big marketplaces. He'd approach their camps, one by one, only to be turned away, or even worse, to have his own tribe follow him around, warning other people not to listen.
You can almost picture it, can't you? A single source of light moving through this vast, dark camp at night, trying to get in, but none of the tents would open up. That was the reality for 10 straight years, a time of really profound isolation and struggle.
But then, in the 11th year, something completely unexpected happened. A tiny little flicker of hope appeared in a place called Aqabah. And you know what? It came from the most unlikely group of people you could imagine.
Just 6 men, that's it. After a decade of approaching entire tribes, the big breakthrough came from this small, totally unplanned meeting during the Hajj season. They were travelers from a city way up north called Yathrib, the city we now know as Al-Madeenah.
And this is where the backstory is just absolutely crucial. Their city wasn't peaceful, not at all. It was exhausted, totally torn apart by a long, bloody civil war between its two main tribes, the Aussies and the Khazraj. So these guys, they were desperately looking for someone or something to finally bring them together.
Now, here's what makes this whole encounter so unique. These men from Yathrib, they were kind of primed for this message. For years, the Jewish communities back in their city had been talking about a prophet who was about to appear. So when they met the Prophet Muhammad, it's like all the pieces of a puzzle started clicking into place for them.
And this quote just brilliantly shows you what was going through their minds. They said this to each other right there on the spot. You see, for them, this wasn't just about faith, it was also a huge strategic opportunity. They saw a chance to find this prophesied leader before anyone else did. And maybe, just maybe, he could be the one to finally bring peace to their war-torn city.
So, those 6 men accepted the message and headed back home. But how do you get a spark from just 6 people to ignite an entire city? Well, after 10 years of trying to win over the big powers, the strategy shifted. This time, it wasn't about an army. It was about one single, dedicated teacher.
For this critical mission, the Prophet chose one of his most noble companions, Mus'ab ibn Umair. Now, Mus'ab was known for his wisdom, his amazing character, and his deep, deep knowledge of the Qur'an. He was, pretty much, the perfect person for the job.
And this was his game plan, taken directly from the Qur'an. No forcing anyone, no coercion. The whole mission was built on this idea of a wise, beautiful, respectful invitation. It was a gentle approach, really, for a city whose heart had been hardened by war.
And you know what? Mus'ab's strategy of just calm, personal conversation, it was incredibly effective. He met with some of the most powerful clan leaders in the city, guys like Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. And when these key leaders accepted Islam, their entire clans followed them. That light of the message just started spreading from one powerful house to the next. So the really crucial point here is this: that darkness of division and war that had plagued Yathrib for so long was finally starting to recede. House by house, family by family, a new light was dawning all across the city. So a year passes, and during the next Hajj season, a new group from Yathrib returns to Makkah. But this time, they didn't just come to listen. They came to make a formal binding commitment.
From just 6 people the year before, the group had now doubled to 12. And this wasn't just simple numbers. It represented something way more profound for their city.
And right here, you see exactly why this was so huge. For the very first time, members of both warring tribes, the Aus and the Khazraj, were there together. You had 10 from the Khazraj and 2 from their former rivals, the Aus. They were standing side by side, united under this new belief, ready to make a pledge.
And they made what's known as the First Pledge of Al-Aqabah. It's sometimes called the Pledge of Women because its focus wasn't on fighting or war, but on something much more fundamental. I mean, look at these articles. They're basically a blueprint for a new society, one built on worshiping one God, protecting life, being honest, and seeking justice. This was the moral foundation being laid for a whole new community.
Okay, so with that pledge, the foundation was officially set. The city was now ready for its final, absolutely incredible transformation.
After that pledge was made, the momentum was just unstoppable. The story of what happened in Mecca, along with the continued teachings of Musab, echoed through every single home in the city. The entire social fabric was being rewoven from the ground up.
And this is the result. A city once defined by bitter civil war, now glowing in the darkness of the desert. It had become a sanctuary, a beacon of hope, and a home for a message that had been homeless for more than a decade.
Which, it leaves us with this one last thought. From a single conversation with 6 men, to a moral pledge by 12, to an entire city lighting up, it all started with a promise of unity, of justice, and of faith. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How does a simple promise turn a city into a home?